Welcome to Side Deck Trends. So far in the metagame, we're literally impacting one solid week of Dark Neostorm being legal now, so it's kind of a little bit of interesting things have been happening here. A little bit of this is going to be regurgitated information that you've probably already known, but across all of the events and things we've seen this weekend, these are the big side deck trends that honestly stuck out to me. So show some love in this video, give me some likes. We'll cover more of these. I'd like to get down to a point where we cover everything in the side deck, but slow and steady wins the race. So let's dig on into this discussion, shall we? Number one is Artifact Lancia. So the entire Orcus combo wants to banish cards. Alright, here's an example of banishing cards. See? This fantastic deck, gone. Alright, but under Lancia, you can't banish your Nordic cards, your Orcus cards anymore. So basically, the card's entire life purpose is to slow down a already shit tier matchup in terms of numbers and things that you can do. You don't want your opponent to set up Double Fogblade, Dingrusu, and all of this other horrifying protection that the deck actually gets. It's ridiculous once the deck goes, because it creates this absurd board that you really can't out. I mean, you can, but it becomes hard at that point. So to see Lancia, also Lancia's got some multi-purposing other effects. Being able to stop banishing other cards. I mean, hey, it slows down Thunder Dragon. That's a good note. Any other matchup that really wants to banish its cards, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I almost said Sky Striker, but we were never doing that. We want our opponent to banish cards off a multi-roll. So the big thing here, we have access to a side deck card that denies the opponent just the basic right to interact in the game. And I mean, when you have smash two cards together make 4 negates the deck as one of the most frightening decks in the format, you think that everybody would be siding this. I think there was one side deck this weekend, maybe 2, that I saw 0 Lancia in. And Lancia's been a 2 to 3 of in every deck. Actually, there was none that was even playing 1. I don't know why you play 1 Lancia, like, unless you got some horrible 15th slot that you need to fill, but then I'm questioning the other 14 cards that you're playing at that point. So that's a big if for me. Number 2 on our list is AntiSpell Fragrance. So AntiSpell Fragrance comes with the territory. I actually think Solid was the big one that was playing this, and a little bit of True Draco. So this is the card that you're bringing in for actually your Sky Striker matchup and your Pendulum matchup. So the big thing with AntiSpell Fragrance is if you open this against Sky Striker can't really do anything. Granted, they can make subtle plays and things like that, but their Woodwankers are turned off. They're already powerful cards they can't use. And if they didn't open up Ray, they can't get access to it. You know, they can't multi-roll away the field spell. They can't interact in the game, which having an auto-win card in a situation like this is really good. Now, on the flip side of that equation, you also get an auto-win button against our friends. That's right, Pendulums. Pendulums cannot make a board against you. At best, they'll be able to summon 2 monsters, if that. And honestly, seeing AntiSpell Fragrance in the Pendulum matchup, it really goes to show that when Pendulum becomes an issue in the format, that we dust off the old AntiSpell Fragrances, and we're like, nah, we're not dealing with this shit. So they're going to have to be playing Twin Twisters, MSTs, and things like that to out these. Now, I'm already wanting to go towards MSTs because of Mystic Mine and stuff running around. So AntiSpell Fragrance loses 1% of its validity. Wish I could roll my eyes better, but it is what it is. But a very powerful side deck card. I saw a couple of side decks that were playing 2 of this weekend. What the fuck? Like, I feel like this is something that you max out on. Like, most everybody that was playing it between Solid and True Draco, yeah, there were True Draco that were siding this. I mean, auto-win buttons, you take them where you can get them. So, yeah, True Draco, Solid, both maxing out on copies of this, just to make shit matchups all the better. Now, next up we had Super Poly, and this was straight 2 of. I think there was only really 1 or 2 decks. Super Poly's in a weird position this weekend because there are only like 1 or 2 decks that were maining it. And I was like, what the fuck? why is not everybody trying to main this card at this point? Like, the card is just that good. Well, come to find out, as more and more of the format is explored and things, you kind of got to decide which target you want to go for. So you kind of get into this point in the format where if you're playing an extra deck and you're like, okay, what can I put into this extra deck? What are these valid targets? What are going to be the best things? Well, obviously Starving Venom Dragon is going to be your go-to. I think every deck that was playing this weekend and playing it, there was a Starving Venom that came along with Super Poly to some extent. Now, lesser targets, you've got Mud Dragon, Dragostopolia, the Predaplant. While these cards are good, they do kind of leave a little bit of a bad taste in them. You've got to decide what you want to bring in. Like, you can get super techie with your choices, but I'm absolutely convinced that Starving Venom Dragon is going to be your big one. So when you are looking to playing double Super Poly in a side deck, for choices, I mean, obviously, you're going to have to make room for the Starving Venom in some capacity. Having more targets isn't a bad thing, but you have to understand that when you start messing around with your targets, when you start trying to play more of these, you're going to start hurting your consistency a little bit. And I'm not necessarily trying to do that in the current format, because the one thing that we need right now is just absolute consistency, and when we start taking that away from ourselves, we're going to start running into issues. So, no thank you. Now, there's that. Super Poly's kind of been everywhere. Now, next up on this list is Prankatops. Talk about a card that just does work. A dinosaur with legs. That was the joke. There is no further punchline. So you got this 2600 body that lets you special summon itself for essentially fucking free for no reason. You all wondered why Cyber Dragon got power crept. Well, besides the fact that, Cyber Dragon can make Megazords. Well, the thing that Prankatops does is he drops 2600 body on the board, and then they had the audacity to give him the effect to tribute himself to destroy something on the opponent's field as a quick effect. How fucking crazy is that for a card? This is one of the best side deck cards in the format. We've seen Prankatops. I think Prankatops has become more of a staple at this point than really any other card in the format, actually. Dinosaurs are already maining this guy because they get a double evolution pill, gets to cheese it out for no real reason. And then you've got just... is this card really fair? Like, a 2600 body that gets over something by battle and then gets distributed, any Dino Wrestler, to interrupt the opponent and kill a card? Fucking sorry. Sorry, we like incredibly broken cards. But yeah, he's become a staple at this point. I don't think there's anything really too much better that breaks the mold. That is Prankatops. There's not a lot of things that we can do to really out this card either. Like the fact that he just pops himself off and goes, huh. And like, you can also do it on end phase. Like, so if the Prankatops survives to the opponent's next turn, you get free access to clear any back row with this guy. So good. Your opponent tries to combo off with a monster, don't mind if I do. Just pop it away. So good. And last on this video is going to be Crackdown. Now, there are a lot of interesting other side deck cards. You got stuff like Sphere Mode, Twin Twisters, MSTs, but we'll cover those in another video. So Crackdown is the big one I was talking about here, because a lot of decks that weren't really, I would say, looking to really play this card, all of a sudden are starting to side this. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Why the sudden impact to wanting to play Crackdown? Well, evidently taking opponents' monsters and using them as your own, who knew? It was actually really good in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Strange thing, I know. Being able to take a Nightmare, make your own Dingrisu, or take your opponent's own Galtea, overlay Dingrisu. It's almost like Mind Control was also a side deck card this weekend. But you also get this interruption, this ability to take an opponent's card. Something that we really haven't seen before in the game. And I don't think players haven't learned how to play around Crackdown yet. Give it time. This probably won't stick around as a side trend for very long. I think this is just kind of main or bust at this point. But give it time. Let the metagame settle itself at the moment. And we'll definitely have to see where things are going at this point, because there are a lot of things to be explored. I mean, especially if Crackdown is one of the side deck cards that we're seeing at this point, it means that players are exploring options, it means that there are things to be seen. But there's a lot of other stuff to talk about. So, guys, what do you think about these 5 side deck cards? Like I said, I think these were the 5 that stuck out most to me. There are more. We will make a part 2 on this. I guarantee it. I want more time in the format to kind of see where things are going. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about this right now. And, whew, well, guys, I'm out. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.